Hey everyone, this is going to be part 2 of my Overdue book haul, and this is going to be split into categories like my first part was, and the first category is going to be book depository books, and the first one I'm starting out with is Queen Victoria, Daughter, Wife, Mother, Widow by Lucy Worsley. I am currently reading this, and I am loving it. Her writing is wonderful. It's really like she's just having a casual conversation with you over tea about Victoria's history. It's great. So I'll read you guys back. This says, who was Queen Victoria? A little old lady, potato-like in appearance, dressed in everlasting black. She was also a passionate princess who loved dancing. And there's a third Victoria, the brilliant queen, one who invented a new role for the monarchy. Victoria found a way of ruling when people were deeply uncomfortable with having a woman on the throne. Her image as the conventional daughter, wife, and widow concealed the reality of a talented, instinctive politician. Her actions, if not her words, reveal that she was tearing up the rules on how to be female. But the price of this was deep personal pain. By looking in detail at 24 days of her life, through diaries, letters, and more, we meet Queen Victoria up close and personal. Living with her from hour to hour, we can see and celebrate the contradictions that made up British history's most recognizable woman. So, yeah, this is amazing so far. Next up, we have The Story Girl by Ellen Montgomery. I actually had the second book in this duology. This is the first book in the Sarah Stanley duology, and I had the second one, Golden Road, still do. I don't know why I said that past tense. I should say I already had the second one because I found it in a used bookstore, but they did not have this one at the time, and I was trying to get this one in the same edition, but that proved difficult. So when I saw that when I saw that Tundra was coming out with a copy of this, because they've started to publish all of Ellen Montgomery's work. They've published all the Anne books and the Emily books, and now I think they're starting to publish her her lesser duology things and standalones and such. So when I saw this, I grabbed it. So this says, Sarah Stanley is only 14, but she can weave tales that are impossible to resist. In the charming town of Carlisle, children and grown-ups alike flock from miles around to hear her spellbinding tales. And when Bev King and his younger brother Felix arrive for the summer, they too are captivated by the story girl. Whether she's leading them on exciting misadventures or narrating timeless stories, from the scary tale of the family ghost to the fanciful how kissing was discovered, to the bittersweet The Blue Chest of Rachel Ward, the story girl has her audience hanging on every word. So I'm incredibly excited for this. I'll probably read it. I can't decide if, when I finish the Anne books, I want to finish the Anne books first. And I can't decide if I then want to jump in with the Emily books or if I want to read some not sort of series or shorter series first. I might want to read Tangled Web. I might want to read this one. I don't really know. We'll see. But I'm excited for this. Next is Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. This is the final book in the Throne of Glass series, and I picked this one because I already have 4 of the books in these editions, and I really like them. This is the 4th one that I have in this edition. So they're almost, I think at this point they're exactly evenly split. I think I have half the series in the UK editions and half the series in the US editions. What was I going to say? When this came out, I didn't want to get the US hardcover because the only reason I have one of the books in hardcover is because it was really cheap. And I also didn't want to wait for the paperback. So I got this one. And like I said, I love these covers. But I'm not going to read you guys the back of this of this one because I've only read the first book. I read the first book the year after it came out, completely loved it, but for some reason didn't keep up with the series as far as reading went. But then after a couple of years, I actually started collecting the rest of the series. So I now have all 8 books, and I will marathon read them all sometime this year, and I'm very excited for it. Okay, so next we have Watership Down by Richard Adams. This is the 40th anniversary edition, and I think it is gorgeous. This was not super high on my priority list. Like, it's been on my list to read pretty much since I saw this edition, because I think this edition is gorgeous, and I've also heard great things about the book. But it wasn't high on my list until I found out that the Netflix film is now out, and I knew that this film was coming out, and it has one of the best casts I have ever seen in my life in a cartoon. Like, it's so good. So, yeah, I'm going to read you guys back at this one. So this says, Sandalford Warren is in danger. Hazel's younger brother, Fiver, is convinced that a great evil is about to befall the land, but no one will listen. And why would they when it is spring and the grass is fat and succulent? So together, Hazel, Fiver, and a few other brave rabbits secretly leave behind the safety and strictures of the warren and hop tentatively into a vast and strange world. Chased by their former friends, hunted by dogs and foxes, avoiding farms and other human threats, but making new friends, Hazel and his fellow rabbits dream of a new life in the emerald embrace of Watership Down. So yeah, I'm excited to read this and watch the film. I'm a little hesitant because I've heard a couple things about this that make me think it's going to make me cry a lot. But the thing is, one thing I've heard about it I don't think can actually be true based on something else I've heard. Like, I've heard 2 contradictory things, and only one of them can actually be true. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I feel about this. And then, last but not least, for the Book Depository books, we have 3 Discworld books. These are in these gorgeous hardcover editions that are published by Galance, I think is how you say it. But I'm not totally sure. And these are so pretty, and with Book Depository's pricing, these are actually only a couple dollars more for me than the paperbacks, because retail price, I think they're £13, which would make them about $20 for me. But for some reason, Book Depository is able to discount them quite a bit. So anyway, this is Soul Music, and it is the one that I am the most excited for. This is the 3rd book in the Death sub-series, and Death is my favorite of the characters, along with his granddaughter Susan, and this is the book where Susan is introduced. I haven't actually read this one yet, but I was introduced to Susan because I read Hogfather first, and that's book 4, so she's actually in that one. But this says, it's lawless, it changes people. It's called Music with Rocks In. So it's about literal rock music, and I love Terry Pratchett's humor with all of my heart. It's amazing. Like, I love it so much, so I'm so excited for this. And then we have Feet of Clay, which is one of the City Watch books. I really love this cover too. I like the colors and the picture. And this says, a werewolf with pre-lunar tension, a dwarf with attitude, and a golem who's begun to think for itself. Yep. Did I say this was a City Watch book? It's a City Watch book. But I'm not sure what number. And then last but not least, we have Men at Arms, which is a City Watch book. Again, I don't know the number. This one's interesting because I really like the picture, but I'm not crazy about the kind of yellow and orangey red color. But again, I really like the picture. So this one says, be a man in the City Watch. The City Watch needs men. And that's it, because they just give you these little teaser summaries. So, yeah. Okay, so that's it for the Book Depository books. And next up, I have 2 books that I got from Barnes & Noble. I got these two in a bargain deal. They had a deal where you could pick 2 books in the bargain section for $10. So I really only saved like between $3 and $4 on these, but that's still a lot because they were only, the bargain price for these was $6 a piece. So, but I mean, it was still a good deal. So the first that I got is The Dry by Jane Harper. I don't know why I felt like I said that weird. This is the first book in a detective series of hers. And this says, Federal Agent Aaron Falk hasn't been back to the place where he grew up for 20 years, or in 20 years. Not since he and his father were run out of town. Even when Falk gets word that his childhood best friend Luke is dead and his entire family murdered, Falk still isn't planning on going back. But then he gets a note. Luke lied. You lied. Be at the funeral. And just like that, Falk is swept back into the secrets of the place and people he left so long ago. When Falk returns for the funeral amid the worst drought in a century, long-buried mysteries resurface, along with the lies that accompanied them. And Falk will discover anew what he's known all along. Sometimes you have to go back home in order to finally leave your past behind. I've heard really good things about this book and the series in general from several booktubers, but specifically I got this because of Kate's recommendation from the novel Nomad. I really trust her judgment when it comes specifically to mysteries, but also books set in Australia because she is Australian. So yeah, I'm really excited about this one. And then the other one that I got in that pair is The Rose and the Dagger by Renee Ahdieh, which is the sequel to Wrath in the Dawn. I'm not going to read you guys the inside because I haven't even read Wrath in the Dawn yet, so this would be a major spoiler for me. But I was so excited when I saw the hardcover in the bargain section because I knew I didn't want to buy both of them at the same time because I didn't have the money where that would be smart to do that at the time when I bought Wrath in the Dawn. But I knew that Wrath in the Dawn is going to be one of those books where as soon as I read it, I'm likely just going to want to pick this up immediately. So when I saw this for $6 and it ended up being $5, which meant with my discount it ended up being $4 something, I was really excited. So there's those. And then I think I have time for one more section of books. These two are books 4 and 5 in the Palliser series by Anthony Trollope. This is Phineas Raydeau, and then this is The Prime Minister. I got these with a Barnes & Noble gift card that my wonderful friend Jenny gave me for Christmas. And, okay, the thing about this is I love these editions because I love the Oxford World Classics editions. I love the way they feel. They're amazing. However, I love this style of cover on these. I cannot stand this because it's a close-up of a powdered wig. Why on earth would I think that was pretty? Why would anyone think that was pretty? I don't get it. So yeah, this kind of cover really irritates me, but I love this one. So I got half of a good cover. I don't know. Anyway, so there's those. And I'm sorry, but I can't read you guys the backs because I'm only on book 1 right now, and I don't want to ruin it for myself. So there's those. And then last but not least for this video is another one that I'm sorry I can't read you guys the back of, but it is The Duke's Children. This is the 6th and final book in the Palliser series, and I got this in the Everyman's Library edition specifically because Katie from Books and Things, she is the one who I'm reading this series with, kind of very casually. Like, for example, she's already finished the first 2 books and I am really behind, so I haven't, but hopefully I'm going to finish them by February, by the end of February, so that we can read the Eustace Diamonds together. That is going to happen. But anyway, she did a video about her 2019 Anthony Trollope project. And in between our buddy reading of the Palliser series, she's going to be reading other Anthony Trollope books. But anyway, that's beside the point. When she made that video, someone commented saying that Everyman's Library and I believe Oxford World Classics, or like Oxford World Press, whatever, this group, are the only two publishers or editions that have a full version of this book. This is the all 4 volumes version. Apparently, when this was first published, the publishers told Anthony Trollope that he had to cut out an entire volume to make it just 3, because otherwise it would be too expensive to print and no one would be able to buy it. Like, no one could afford it. So apparently this is the first time in years that this has been published fully, or maybe first time ever. And this was, I think, a couple years ago. So when I saw that comment, I immediately bought this version so that I could read the unabridged version. So there's that. And I'm sorry, but I can't read you guys the summary again because it's the last book in the series. Anyway, okay, that is part 2 of my book haul. Let me know what you think of any of those books, and thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for part 3. Bye.